Hey everyone, just happy to announce that Haven Cottage Event Center is opening in late spring of this year in McKinney. Haven Cottage is an event center for small to medium-sized occasions in a country setting minutes away from the city. Use the facility for a conference, art exhibition, and multi-purpose meetings, or just celebrate your family's joyous events exactly how you want to. Everything you need to know to get in touch with them is all in the description, okay? Email, phone, alright? Check them out, see what's up, maybe reserve something, who knows, whatever it is, check it out. Alright, enjoy the episode.
Podcast, one more podcast. One more podcast.
Welcome back to the One More Podcast, guys. Third take. Hopefully this is our last dang take because I like to spoil things whenever we specifically specify no spoilers. So, because you don't know, what movie did we see today, Blake?
We saw The Commuter.
Awesome. And who is it starring, Blake?
Liam Neeson.
That's it. I don't want to talk about Liam Neeson anymore. You've said too much about Liam Neeson being in crap movies. Your expectations, Blake?
They were low.
Good. Same here. I was like, oh, this movie's coming out. Oh, it's in January. Okay, bleh. All right. Anyways, synopsis. Did I miss anything? I know I totally...
I think you're good.
So
to clarify, this movie is called The Commuter.
Yes, The Commuter.
Starring Liam Neeson, Via Farmiga, and Patrick Wilson, and Sam Neill.
Perfect.
And you ready to talk about what this movie is
It's
about?
about synopsis. Run-of-the-mill guy, sells life insurance, he gets canned. He's like, oh man, down on my luck. And then, stuff happens, and then he goes on train. And on this train, on the way home, because he's a commuter, a lady walks up to him, and then she sits down, and she's like, I am a therapist lady, and I have things that I need to tell you. And he's like, I'm reading a book. Brr, 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 brr. And then she's like, okay, well, I like to blabber, so I'm going to blabber. What if I offer you this hypothetical? And then he's like, what hypothetical? And then she's like, there's a person that needs to be found, and we don't know who this person is, so $25,000 are in the bathroom, so if you get the $25,000, then you have to find this person for us. And if you find the person, then you get $75,000. And then stuff happens. All right, is that good enough?
That sounds good.
All right, any things you want to fill in?
Yeah, so this person has particular information or items that could lead to a destruction for somebody that wants her or him to be killed.
It's very apparent that head honcho people are like controlling this, but you don't know who. You don't know who's masterminding. You don't know who. So that's the kind of whole premise. Majority of the movie takes place on the train, which I thought is I kind of like that concept.
They wanted to go for a claustrophobic feeling, like with.
Well, have you seen? Oh, this totally reminds me. Have you seen the airplane movie where Liam Neeson is the air marshal? And then there's like a terrorist. He's like texting the air marshal, and he's like, "I'm gonna blow up this airplane if you don't do this, this, this." You haven't seen that one?
I remember the trailers.
Okay, yeah. This is literally the exact same thing.
Except it's
on the ground now. Liam Neeson's on the ground. So, all right, okay. So, God, now we're done. No more. All right. Or actually, is there anything else you want to talk about in the beginning? We're doing no spoilers.
Just synopsis-wise?
Yeah,
I think we covered the very basic of what's going on.
Now we can finally talk about the movie after 10 takes.
It.
Okay, so I thought the intro sequence was amazing.
I thought it was interesting, yeah.
It was the first thing I've ever seen to establish a storyline, to establish character development, to establish these characters that you are supposed to care about. I think they did a really, really good job of this kind of interesting exposition, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah,
so,
they use a combination of repetitiveness, different people talk or different conversations on the radio when he woke up. I thought that was awesome.
Yep.
So seeing his kid grow up in each book that he read. Yep. Like it was this
essentially a time lapse of let's take 7 different shots. So it's a time lapse of 7 different shots to show that Liam Neeson's kind of he's a Joe Blow average guy. He wakes up for work. Wife drives him to the train station. He goes to work. He's on walking past the same people. The emphasis of The Commuter is that these guys are commuters. They're outside of New York and they have to take a train to go into the city. So you see the same faces. And then each to show kind of the realistic. It's not just a happy-go-lucky relationship in a marriage, in a family. They had arguments. They were yelling at each other. There were some that they were happy and they were laughing. They would
kiss each other.
It showed the whole spectrum of just a normal family just across,
10 years. It was 10 years. So
time lapse was 10 years?
Well, he was working for that life insurance company for 10 years. And he had to go into the
city
for 10 years.
No, sure. No, and I mean, that makes sense. I didn't know if it was like, yes, he was working for the company for 10 years, and then they only showed maybe like the last few years or something like that. Or maybe,
well, remember his kid was young.
Oh, he read Lord of the Flies, which
was
in high school.
Middle school.
I read it in high school.
And then it showed him about to go or wanting to go
applying
to Syracuse.
Yeah. Okay, so so it was a very long time period. Okay, but yeah, I thought it was really well done. I don't know of any other movie that kind of and I think that's the challenge with a lot of movies is that they're you only have 2 hours. Okay, how are you going to make people care about characters within the first 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of the movie? So right. I thought it was your own personal relationship you have with the character and how you empathize and how you sympathize and how you
relate.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if I said relate or not, but whatever. How you relate to the characters and how you appreciate the characters is up to you. But I think they handed a very well crafted beginning. I thought that was really because and that's my issue with a lot of kind of the big budget, trailers, big budget thrillers, dramas, like the action. This is going to be an action movie with shooting and blah, 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 and explosions. And blah, blah, blah,
You don't give a shit about the character,
exactly.
So why give a shit about the movie?
And it almost seems kind of cheesy and just kind of like cut and paste. It's not very, it's like, okay, just a regular intro. So, but this, it wasn't, sure, it was still kind of like you had the traditional stereotype characters and the traditional scope, but, I don't know. I thought the intro made me at least care a little more, and I was just like, okay, this is different. This stands out to me. This is not just a run of the mill average box movie. So, I thought that was really cool. I'm like at the very bottom of this. Okay. All right. So, obviously, as we said, the kids go to college. This is an overall arcing theme that I don't know if it's too played out with the. He's got money problems, because that's the incentive.
Hiding it for sure.
Oh, for sure. But I don't know. I don't know how else they would, and I can't think of anything right now. But I don't know how else they would have made the pressures for him to do the thing that the lady said, to find that person. I don't know how else they would have okay, now he has to because he just lost his job. He's very lots of bills. Obviously, money is the solution. I don't know how else they would have made him accept that offer, or at least consider.
Well, yeah, like in a lot of movies, they just jump in. Like a character will say, "Hey, I know you have money problems," and then stuff happens. I thought this one did a good job in saying why he had money problems, because a lot of movies, like the character, they just show you like a past due thing on an envelope, and you just assume, oh, he has money issues.
True,
but this one they at least expanded it and showed why. He's got 2 mortgages. He's working for the dead end company. He's got a kid that wants to go to Syracuse and tuition is like $20,000.
Yeah, like when they had the conversation,
the kid's trying to decide whether or not to live in the dorm or the apartment, and it's just it stresses a parent out.
Very much so. So I liked how going into this movie, I thought it had such a higher standard for a setup. Forget the big middle and end. Forget resolution. Forget whatever it is. I thought the foundation for this movie was well done. And in the course of about 15 minutes, they managed to. Here's everything you got. This is what we're working with. Let's do this. Yeah, I get it. You're a 60-year-old guy. You have problems. You just got canned. I'm with you. I'm here. So I thought that was really cool. Okay, I thought it was really interesting, and I mean, I get it for the character to relate to the character and kind of a little bit of the development and kind of rounding out the character instead of just being a 2-dimensional person. They mentioned the Irish background a lot, and I was just like, I'm curious because I mean, Blake, you always are talking about that yourself because you're yourself. So was that? Do you think that was kind of forced in there, or did it feel kind of just natural? It was just like. You brought it up. It was a thing. He said, I'm not going to talk about my problems because I'm Irish. I'm going to handle it. That's what I do. And
it's pretty standard to me.
Well, no, because I mean, I feel like some movies sometimes they force like this. Oh, this is a person. Like this is a character trait, and it's kind of out of place, and it's almost just like you didn't need to know about it, but now you do know about it.
I don't know. So the Northeast is known for its large population of Irish people, but he said that his parents were first generation or whatever?
Yeah, at the beginning at this company, okay. They came here and he built himself.
I think it was just a cue to establish how long he's been there and how long he's been taking that same thing, doing the same monotonous thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave a little bit more about his background.
But do you think that was?
I don't think it was forced. Like,
Okay.
I didn't even think about it until you just brought it up.
Right, exactly. So I was just like, it's just natural conversation just happens, because I just feel like sometimes in some movies you'll have like a boss saying, "I don't care if you're from blah 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 whatever," or I need the papers now," or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, they want you to
Know that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's important.
Yeah,
But
so
this one, it wasn't
Right.
important to his character at all, but
Sure.
it just added a little bit more oomph.
a little more depth to him. So
To the dude.
again, that was part of the setup.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I thought that was to emphasize on how well the setup was. Okay, so we talked about that. All right, just real quick, I want to take a break. Liam Neeson, he has such a gravelly voice. He has like this, like I feel like whenever he talks, just like the bass, the subwoofer has to like put in extra work when he talks.
Yeah.
He's just like, Liam. No, he
It's
doesn't
like he's
sound
got sand
Liam
or
Neeson.
rocks in his throat.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it sounds cool. I've always loved Liam Neeson's voice.
I think it's super interesting. It's because obviously you've heard him like outside just in his regular Irish, because he's Irish, right?
Yeah,
I thought
he's
he was
Irish.
Yeah, so just his regular Irish accent. So I don't know if it's him doing like an American accent. gives
No,
him that-
he's got a little bit of.
He's just a
the
man's
rocky voice when he has his Irish accent too.
Okay, so you like that about him? That's like
Yeah.
something that you're just like,
It's
yeah,
it's part
this
of his trait. Like,
That's true.
It's Liam Neeson's voice. It's whenever they do Family Guy bits about him,
Mhm.
his voice is like one of the biggest things that they do.
Mhm.
Liam Neeson even starred in an episode of Family Guy
Yeah,
and the whole point was him being this tall Irish badass with a low grumbly voice. Like, that's just his thing.
it's so. Do you think that just part of his voice just he's now has to play these action? He can't be like in a comedy.
Well, we've
role?
never seen the only comedy we've seen him in is Ted 2.
I didn't see Ted 2.
He buys cereal from Ted, and
Okay.
the little teddy bear. You know,
Yeah.
He's at the supermarket and he's got this box of tricks in his jacket, and he's like, "I'm wondering if these tricks are really just for kids." And Ted's like, "No, I think everyone can buy them." He's like, "You sure?" And he's like, "Yep, I'm pretty sure." And he slips him like a 50, and he's like, "I won't forget what you did here today." And he just walks out. And Ted's like, "I would prefer if you did."
That's good.
It's
I
really
like that.
funny.
That's really good. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to see Liam Neeson in a comedy, just like a comedy starring Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
I think it would.
Pull like a reverse Steve Carell.
He
like-
can do comedy. I'm sure he could.
Oh, I'm sure he's like kind of a funny guy.
Yeah.
He seems kind of just
Have I not shown you the Life's Too Short bit where, so you know Ricky Gervais?
Mhm.
He did a show, you know the midget that plays R2D2?
Sure.
Well, he had an HBO show for like 2 seasons called Life's Too Short.
Mm.
No pun intended.
No,
or pun
I'm
intended.
sure it was pun intended. Yeah.
But the first episode is them sitting around in Ricky Gervais's office, and Liam Neeson comes in wanting to do. He wants to get into comedy,
Yeah.
but Liam Neeson is known for being this serious dude, and
Yeah.
so he's like, "Let's do some improvisational comedy."
Okay.
But like, and so they're like, "All right, let's set up the scene or whatever." Ricky's a flower shop guy, and you want to come in with a complaint.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Okay." Knock, knock. And he's super serious. But the whole point of it is when he finally gets up to it, he's like, "I couldn't come in yesterday." "Well, I'm sorry. That's when the shop was open." He's like, "I have AIDS."
What?
It's super. And he's like so deadpan, and everyone's just like, "That's not very funny. I don't know what you want me to do with that." I'll show it to you right after. It made
All
me
right.
cry.
That sounds.
But
good.
he can do comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he'll have to play the serious dude in a
Just
comedy
overly
movie.
serious
Yeah.
comedy. All right, I'm down with it. Okay, so obviously a big factor again here was the fact that he is 60 years old and he's like this old
Right.
man. And there's a few things that we can get into a little bit later that I know you wanted me to write down because of he's being an old man.
Yeah.
But do you think that played a part, or do you think this movie could have been just as good if he was like a 40-year-old guy or a younger guy? You think it was so him getting canned, that was just kind of a story plot. It was whatever because he was close to retirement.
I don't know how old your parents are, but
Mhm.
my dad is 52, or he will be 52 this year.
Yeah.
And I'm 21. I don't know. I guess he married a young wife, and had a kid. Because a 60-year-old dad with a kid going to college, I mean, that's 40 years old. A 40-year-old dad. We're not assuming that the mom is 40-year-old too.
True.
So he probably married young, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know.
I didn't think about that, yeah.
But that it could have been 40, it could have been 50. He probably would have had to been between 45 and 55.
Sure.
Just because the kid's going off to college.
Right.
It just makes sense timeline-wise, I guess.
If anything, I can see because and part of the reason why, again, I'm not super huge into drama, shooters, whatever, action, whatever, is because the script is just a script. It's a boilerplate script. There's not like a lot to it. It's not like an invested script. It's not like Good Will Hunting where they're like, this is,
Well, it depends on the action movie.
Well, okay, sure.
So I can show you all 3 of the original Bourne movies. Those scripts were insane.
True. Okay, well then just but you know what I'm talking about. A stereotypical drama suspense like
there's not a lot to it.
I'm trying to think of another one.
Taken 2 and 3.
Okay, sure, whatever. That's fine. So
there you go.
Just the boilerplate, the
Snakes
script
on
is
a
there.
plane.
Well, Snakes on a Plane. Wait, no, I'm thinking of Airplane. Never mind. Just kidding. I love Airplane. Airplane's a good movie. Anyways, I think because Liam Neeson auditioned for it, they're just like, okay, let's rewrite the script so that it makes sense for Liam Neeson.
I don't know.
Because that's what I'm thinking is they had we want this to happen. Here are the highlights, and then whatever actor comes in, let's rewrite for that person. And that's what I perceive. And just if you have just a big budget actor in this whatever stereotypical movie of insert plot, that's what they do. It's just they have a skeleton of a thing, and then once the actor's on board,
they beef it up.
They fill it in with
the only thing is
actor.
For a studio to provide the budget for that, most studios need a completed script, in order to back it.
Sure. Okay. So they have.
So I'm sure script. They shoehorned in like a couple of lines of
right, and so
I'm
the fact
60
that
years old,
exactly, yeah, and because Liam Neeson wanted to do it, so
right.
The point I'm trying to make is that I don't think the script and the story is like this amazing, ingenious work of art.
No.
It could be messed with and finagled with because Liam Neeson came in here. Ooh, you know what would have been cool? If Mark Wahlberg was the star. That'd be kind of cool. That would be, and he always had like this, BS attitude of like, man, what are you trying to mess with me?
Get out my face, bitch.
That's what, yeah. That would have been a good movie. I thought that would have been cool.
Roll credits.
It's just, that's it.
Yeah,
a 20-minute movie. That's it. Okay. I also wrote. Okay, so how have you ridden subways or metros or trains or whatever? Like you're familiar.
Well, I take the Dart to go to downtown.
Oh, okay.
Dallas. So
okay. So you're kind of familiar with that because I know at least for me, like the first 20 years of my life, I didn't really ride any public transportation.
Yeah.
I rode the school bus, but that's like whatever. But so I can't talk. My recent or not okay, God.
Good Lord, son.
Cannot talk. Trip to New York. Went there, I guess it was a year ago. So obviously rode the subway, rode the train, had public transportation, I thought they did a really good job mimicking that. Just the
Well, you've been to New York, I haven't, so I don't know how that.
Well, and
I'm
that's
sure
what I was
it's
trying,
very specific to New York, though.
Sure, but that's what I was trying to like.
There's a reason they showed him walking through Grand Central Station.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess my point was, did it feel like a realistic? Like that's a train. It's not just like
it looked high class from what I drive or from what I take. Like
really?
The Dart is very.
Oh, that train was like old as hell. Like the train was even like falling apart, and like the AC was breaking down, and the guy working on the train, he was like, either the people are gonna kill me or this train's gonna.
I know they had leather seats. The Dart has like some half-ass
Yeah.
cushions with stainless steel frames or whatever. This one had bronze and copper with an orange and maroon touch. I don't know. It seemed high class for me.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, okay, I still think that though
I think that's different from the subway and commuter trains, I guess.
True, probably. So, but still kind of like if they're saying this movie is about a train.
Yeah, it was a train.
It was a train. You're not.
I wouldn't have known
that.
I wouldn't have known the difference.
Okay, all right.
So because all I have is the Dart,
right?
And the Dart is what I see as a train as.
Okay.
That's my vision of a train. It's either that or Thomas the Engine. That's all I know.
True. But again, I thought that was a point I wanted to make. I question point
authenticity.
Whatever. Yes, thank you. aside from the few gripes that you had, I thought this movie was pretty like realistic. Like, sure, obviously the concept of like a head honcho wanting to silence a thing to make sure that they don't get put in jail or whatever. Sure, that's a little bit of a stretch, but I think realistically, aside from your gripes, which we'll get into in a little bit, I thought everything could have happened. It made sense. It was fine. You know, I thought the characters, you know, when he was interacting with the people on the train, that was real people. Just normal people. They're like, hey, what, you want to know my business? Well, screw you. Why should I tell you my business?
Right.
Let's see. Okay. Did you get that? And this isn't okay. Well,
we get into spoiler territory.
Not necessarily the spoiler territory, but just kind of okay.
Do you want to do the?
Let's cut off here. We're 20 minutes in, so let's give our official rating just so we can kind of wrap it up for the people, and then we can talk more in depth, and then give another rating. Sure, whatever. Okay, so going over here. Let me see if we any other non-spoiler stuff.
How about the acting? We can talk about that.
Oh, sure, yeah, okay. The dialogue and acting and stuff like that. I thought it was decent. I mean, halfway decent.
I thought it was a straightforward action thriller.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of dialogue, in terms of characters.
I don't think there was any cringy stuff. Not what I remember. From what I remember, I don't think there was a lot of cringy moments.
The dude that works for Goldman Sachs seemed kind of cringy.
That scene was hilarious. Amazing. I loved it. Okay, that's not
spoilery.
But I think we're gonna save it. You have to, if anything, watch this movie. I spent $5 to go see it at Studio Movie Grill. If you have anything similar like that, local theater, whatever, just watch it for that one scene when he talks to the guy from Goldman Sachs.
We can talk about we'll talk no, I'm saying we can talk about the underlying theme of.
No, I'm saving for the spoiler. It's just
it's not spoilery.
I did, but it's okay. It's okay, Blake. Okay. It was so good. It was a surprise to me, because if we talk about it, people are going to kind of half expect it to happen. But since it was a total surprise to me, I was like, so I super enjoyed it. But okay, acting was really good. Not really good.
It was good.
It was not bad.
Like they had good actors. Liam Neeson is a good actor. Sam Neill is a great actor. Patrick Wilson's a good actor. Dave Farmiga is a good actor.
One thing I didn't know if it was specific to this movie or just action dramas and stuff like that, but I know you said the camera angle, the cameras and stuff were shaky and stuff like that at times.
For the first fight scene, or one of the fight scenes that he had, it was obvious that it was shaky cam.
But okay, so but then there's also something, I don't know. It felt as if, and this is my brain just coming up with this conclusion. But there was a lot of scenes where I felt like it was almost at like a 1.2 speed. Like it was almost kind of like it didn't look totally natural, like as if he was doing it himself. Maybe they did it at a slower rate and they had to speed it up because Liam Neeson is old. Do you know what I'm kind of saying? Like,
well, I'm saying that's why the shaky cam is there.
That's true.
Like,
yeah,
it's to mask actors that can't do certain stunts or whatever. Like one of the worst cases of that is a movie called Alex Cross with Michael J. Fox Matthew Fox from Lost and Tyler Perry. And like the last fights, the climax of that fight scene is so shaky cam that it hurts your eyes.
Oh, really?
Like you can't focus on anything.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't nearly as bad as that. But shaky cam can also be done well. And like in some movies where you still know what is happening, just the frames are really quick. Right. You have to keep up.
Okay.
This one, the first one, kind of it lost my attention. But for the rest of the movie, I thought the action was pretty straightforward. I knew what was happening. I knew every punch, every kick, stab, shot. I knew everything that was happening. Yeah. So I guess it succeeded in that aspect.
My only gripe was just it's hard for me to explain it because like I can't define it really, but there were just a few scenes where it just felt as if it wasn't like happening at a 1-to-1 ratio. It was like it happens, or they would do it slower, and then they had to speed it up for whatever reason. Okay. That's the best thing I can explain. I thought they had some pretty realistic people. I mean, just to close it off,
normal people.
Yeah, just but like, you know, it wasn't just like a bland Joe Blow on a train. This guy was talking about.
Everyone had their backstory. Everyone had their problems. Everyone had their own personality.
And I thought that was really nice that they like, instead of just like
expendable people.
Yeah, you could potentially relate with some of them, you know, with the information that they gave you. Right. So, Overall, though, it was a solid movie. I definitely for $5 or whatever for a ticket, I was totally worth it. I would. I don't know if I would see it again.
I wouldn't.
Maybe if I go with a group of people and we're like, let's watch just a really fun, whatever movie to whatever, then maybe. But no, yeah, I enjoyed it. I'd probably give it a solid B, I think.
I'm with you.
Same here.
B minus B.
B? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so cutoff. Here's the cutoff, people. We are doing spoilers now. We're going to talk spoilers. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I don't know how much longer we're going to talk about spoilers, but I just want to go through my list at least,
right,
just to go through it. So, all right, you've been officially warned. If you have not clicked off, I'm sorry if you spoil it, but that's what happens when you don't listen.
Right. Spoiler.
Let's say it. Blake, can you say spoiler?
Spoiler.
There it is. All right. Okay. Did you get that he was an ex-cop? Whenever at the part?
Not at the bar.
Yeah.
I didn't get it at the bar.
Yeah.
Ex-partner, I thought maybe business partner.
Yeah, or something like, I got your back for 7 years, let someone else have
I
your back.
thought he was going to offer him a job. Because I thought it was a business partner. I didn't think it was a cop.
Well, no, but I knew his friend was a cop. Because the sergeant or whatever guy, I
didn't catch that.
Oh, but yeah, so.
I thought he was just because leading up before that, all the talk was bigwigs, keeping the middle class down.
Yeah.
And the radio frequencies. One had police violence and another had Bill Clinton. And so the whole thing was about the middle class being kept down kind of thing. That's the underlying tone of it.
Yeah.
So I thought, that's just another corrupt captain that we all know as a community. That guy's corrupt as hell. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Oh, well, no, I got, and I see how you got that point, but yeah, I caught that his friend was part of the police. I didn't, however, catch that he was an ex-cop. Which makes sense. He's a cop until he's 50, and then.
Well, that I wish I would have caught it because that would explain how he could fight all these people on the train.
Oh, true, yeah.
Because that probably was one of my gripes. If they had made it more obvious to me that this dude was a cop, I wouldn't have been pissed off about how is this 60-year-old life insurance salesman kicking FBI agents' asses.
True.
I didn't. That was one of my gripes. I'm like, how the hell? There's no way. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm kind of out.
Yeah. So yeah,
But now that they kind of gave clues that he was a cop, I guess I don't feel as
well. It was very. I think, and that's what. And I think I like
60.
Well, that's true. But I like when movies do that. I like when they just sprinkle it in, and not just the. Man, you were my partner.
You were the best on the force.
Yeah,
Why'd you have to quit so early?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm glad that they didn't do that. But I like when they do the sprinkling. So the ex-cop thing was nice. The hypothetical scene was kind of spooky. I don't know. I know that they played kind of the background music and stuff like that, and she was talking about finding the person, and you're just like, oh, well, because to me, I knew that they were going to kill the person. I knew that's just
what they were wanting to do.
That's what, yeah. It was just when the spooky music came, and she's like, hypothetically, ooh. So I don't know. Did you think that it was just whatever?
I thought it was all right. This setup. Now let's go.
All right.
Now you got a job to do. Let's see what happens.
Do you like mystery movies and kind of the concept of you part of the audience has to play the detective work? I know they didn't really give us a lot of clues going through each person. That it was just okay, all these people are going. The 7 people or whatever going to the. Last stop.
I like movies that make you question up until the very end whenever they do reveal or whatever. We both of us love The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, of course.
I love The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Which I can name right now.
Sure.
But I like those movies. This one just didn't it just seemed very abrupt when this poor dude who just is about to be on the cuffs of bankruptcy is now that didn't seem realistic to me. Sure. I would have said, who the hell are you? Back away. I got stuff to worry about. Please leave me alone.
Okay.
But that part didn't. But I know they had to make a plot, and they had
sure. But at the end when he's like the person switched seats or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? Did you when he started?
Well, they lingered shots on Prin.
Yeah.
That whoever that girl was. a little longer, and so that was in the back of my mind. I didn't realize that they switched seats because the Goldman Sachs dude did a good job at playing an asshole.
Yeah.
So he got to get up and walk away. But I did notice they were lingering shots on her for a reason.
Okay.
And so that kind of stayed in the back of my mind. I completely forgot about her though.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't completely forget about her,
And do you
but
think
it
that
was
was-
out of my mind.
Do you think that was a good
Mhm.
good on them,
Yeah.
or it was like that was okay? So
Yeah, no, that was good.
okay. Because part of me is like, okay, do you want to write a movie where they show you have the person Prin has screen time, you've seen her, and then whatever, or it's like a total you've never seen her, and then a total surprise, and how you balance that. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, let's see. They were watching him the whole time on the train. I thought that was kind of far-fetched a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like whenever he was going
How?
through each person, well, because like what the black guy was the only person watching him,
With
right?
the guitar, yeah.
With the guitar, but that was the only other informant on the train, right?
That we know of, because
that's true,
the
yeah.
dude with the bag was an FBI agent.
True.
So he doesn't
Everyone
count.
had- right.
So yeah, the dude with the guitar, but I don't know.
I just thought it was kind of weird that, and like I get it, you know, you've got money, you've got people. That's, you know, if you have a lot of money, you're always going to have eyes anywhere. So I
Right.
get that. I just thought it was kind of like, you know, the whenever he was in the back of the train car calling his cop friend, the lady was like, and then the lady called and she's like, okay, now give the phone back to that guy. I was like, well, where is she? What do you look? Is there
Yeah.
cameras on the train? Like,
That's I guess the point of the secrecy. I guess
I guess.
just adds to the level of mystery.
So
I accept the movie logic there.
well, sure. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I like the movie stuff. I like the mystery stuff, like the what's going? Because I like thinking during movies. I'm like, okay, who is it? What can I, you know, what am I supposed to choose? Which person is it? The asshole Goldman Sachs? Is it the Russian-looking guy playing cards? By the way, I really like that card scene. That was really cool. Long story short, he manages to, before they get to the last stop, he manages to get everyone on the train because he
Into one car.
into one
'Cause he
train
blew
car
the AC.
because he blew the AC, so everyone's in the one car, and then he goes to the poker game. And so from the beginning of the movie, like the situation that the lady told him, he was playing poker and he's like, let me tell you a hypothetical, and he does that reverse thing, and then when his friend asked him what he would do, he's like, well, I would get everyone on the same train car, and I would, start narrowing things down, and blah 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 blah. And I was just like, wow, that's really cool. I thought that was a good line of dialogue. I thought that was like, I don't know. I thought that was cool. Okay, the ring thing or whatever.
I don't know how they did that.
Okay, yeah,
And
right.
that part didn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's supposed to be this suspenseful, oh my gosh, they have my wife. And I think it would have been better if they actually had his wife, and that's how they got the ring to him.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Well,
wife was fine.
What they might have done,
Like, if they had that scene where where she sends the phone in and so he can listen to his wife and his son, if they had that before they gave him the ring, that would have been better.
That would have been better. They could have flip flopped that. Yeah, I agree with that. What was this? I'm such an idiot. Should have expanded. I wrote smart secret writing. Oh, when he was talking with the other commuter guy.
Why did he have to die?
Okay.
I wish somebody would just put a bag over his head and throw him in a car.
I mean,
they had to throw him in front of a freaking
that's the
bus.
consequence, though. He tried.
God.
So what happens was, after he realizes that he's being watched and he's trying to get out of this, essentially, he on a newspaper. I thought this was really smart because this is something that like a regular person would do, or an ex-cop guy would probably do. So he's like, hey, could I borrow the sports section? Liam Neeson doesn't sound like that, but he's like,
is he my granddad?
hey, can I borrow the sports section? I don't know, whatever. Anyway,
yes, he has to borrow the sports section,
and then he starts writing, hey, help, call the cops.
Wife.
They have my wife. Whatever, please help. Whatever. I think he says whatever, right? That's what he says.
I think so.
What? Oh yeah, my cat goes into the cupboards.
Okay,
It's
just making sure you didn't have food in there.
Oh no, she just hangs out.
Cool.
She does that. Anyways,
sorry.
No, you're good. So he hands it to the guy, and then he taps on the thing or whatever, and he's like, okay. And then I guess I didn't catch if he nodded at him when he was going down the staircase after the guy left the train.
He was just trying to look at him to see if he looked at the newspaper.
Right. So, but yeah, and And so and then he goes down, and then the train stops, and then he's like, "What's happening?" And then the lady calls. She's like, "Shouldn't have done that." And then he gets pushed out. I mean,
God,
I get it. Like no games,
but
no, I agree. That was pretty. I was just like, oh man,
That
I like
sucks.
that
I like
actor.
that dude. He
He
was
was cool. He was just a regular commuter, just doing his thing, and then he got pushed because Liam Neeson doesn't know how to follow rules.
no, he doesn't.
Okay, Liam Neeson really likes to have his family in danger. Is that just a
Every
thing?
freaking movie.
Every movie? I want to make sure my wife's okay. Where's my child? Like, I think that's just a thing. It's just, he's always in danger. I don't know. I just wrote that just because I thought it was
I
kinda
think
funny.
in 5 movies so far that I can name off the top of my head 5 movies: Taken 1, 2, and 3, Walk Among the Tombstones, and The Commuter.
They're all just families
Like the
in
dude
danger.
just can't. Like at this point, what was the line in Deadpool? He was like, at this point, you just gotta think, is this guy a bad father?
You know what? It would be really cool if like they come up with like another movie that's like encompasses all of those movies and it's all in the same cinematic universe, and then like Liam Neeson is just going from marriage to marriage. He's just like, I can't be with you if I'm always in danger. So I think that would be kind of cool. Okay. Whenever he realized, whenever he had to find the people who were going to the end of the line,
Springs.
Brook Springs,
Cold Springs.
Cold Springs, and he looked at the metro to find it. I thought that was kind of an interesting sequence.
That was
Whenever
smart.
he was picking at the stuff
Yeah.
and he was just casually looking. But also, I thought it was shot well. I thought it was, the zoom ins, the slow downs, the whatever, the different
Right.
angles and stuff like that. I thought that was cool.
Can we take a second? No one's suspicious that this dude is walking from one end of the train to the other for like an hour
True.
before stuff actually starts happening.
True. Well, I mean, the lady asked him, and he's like, "I'd rather do this instead of calisthenics or whatever."
Yeah, one person.
Well,
They're like 6 cars.
you're right. I don't know. Maybe he does that. Well, no, he normally sits down. and
No,
just
he
reads.
sits down and reads
I don't know.
John Steinbeck.
Well, okay. I will say, and I don't know how much of a defense you can say, but there are some weird people in New York, and there's some weird people who ride
Fair
trains.
enough.
So, like, it's not unusual to see like just people walking back and forth. I would assume.
Okay.
So, just because I've seen some weird people in New York. Anyways, okay. So we're in spoiler territory, so we're gonna talk about Wall Street Guy. Best fucking scene in the entire movie. I don't care what you think. Best scene. He finds out that he's from Goldman Sachs, and as we said before, the whole theme is about the middle class, struggling and getting sacked and just having a hard time with life, whether it's money, family, whatever it is. And so he finds out that this young hotshot guy works for Goldman Sachs. Hello, Kat. Works for Goldman Sachs, and so as he leaves, because he has to find which people are which, and so he comes to a conclusion that this guy isn't the person that I should be finding. He's like, "Oh, I know you're from Goldman Sachs." And so as he gets up, he comes back to him for a split second, and he's like, what does he say? He says, "On behalf of the American middle class." And he flips him off, "Fuck you." And I was just like, that is amazing! That is perfect! Thank you, thank you, thank you! Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, yes, I thought that was really awesome. God, I love that scene. So, sorry if I spoiled it for you, but we did say spoilers, so just such a good scene. That's the reason why you need to watch this movie. Is just for that
Just
scene.
for that scene.
Just for that scene. Okay. One other thing that I thought was kind of broke the movie for me and broke kind of the immersion was the maze not working and the pepper spray or whatever. The young teenager, another person that he had to find, teenager. He follows her into the empty train car that has no AC, which no one is in it, and then she sprays him with pepper spray,
and he's fine.
And then he kind of wipes that out of his eye, and he's like, "Whoa, it's okay.
What's going on? I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, like,
I'm not a cop.
I thought that was kind of weird. I get it. You can't have
watch Jackass. Those guys get pepper spray. They're down for the count for like 2 hours.
And they can't do that though because then Liam Neeson's gonna.
It's
have
for
everyone
the next
killed.
hour and a half. He's just laying in a car with a frozen pack of peas on his eye. It's just someone give me some baby soap.
So yeah, that did kind of break immersion, which was a little dumb. Let's see. We talked about the shaky cam. So did you also catch that they were going to kill whoever the witness was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, cool. I was sad that he lost the money. So Liam Neeson gets $25,000, and then he finds out that the target that he tagged, who thought he was the victim, he was actually an FBI agent, and the lady calls him from the FBI agent's phone, and she's like, wrong move, you had someone killed, blah, blah, blah. And because you made such a big ruckus and you talked to the Metro people, blah, 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 now cops are here and you got a gun and a guy and a dead body, what are you going to do? And so when the cops go to the
his car with the AC busted,
he
hides
goes
in the floors.
underneath the floors where the dead body was stored. And then as the train moves on, he kind of slips and falls, and then he has to get back onto the train. So he's getting back onto the train. He has to like finagle his way around and then run up to the side of the train where the trains are split to open up and get into that. Unfortunately, while that happens, he loses the $25,000, which that makes me really sad. Yeah. Like that was just like he could have at least walked out of here with $25,000.
Well, no, and that's kind of like at the end of the movie, we realize like that dude is still stuck in, or no, I guess he got a job as a police detective,
but he's going to work there for 5 years and then retire. But he's still, right. I just felt like it was kind of like after you go through such a traumatic experience and you go through like, honestly, that's probably the most stress he's ever had on the job or out of the job, probably ever. And then he goes back to a job that is just another stress job, which was kind of like, man, whatever. But I mean, I get it. You know, you want to have some kind of resolution. You don't want he still doesn't have a job, so he's still logic. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so that part where you lose the money makes me sad. Yeah, again, we talked about moving them all to the last train. I thought that was really brilliant.
It was a smart move.
It was like, okay, I wouldn't even thought of that. Like, I was just
I would have just jumped. I wouldn't have taken. See, that's the thing. I never would have taken that money. I would have given her the finger and said "F off."
Well, but I think they would have. But I think they would have. Do you think they would have respected it and said, "Okay, you didn't take the money, so you're not going to do this"?
I don't know. Probably not. Right. So, well, I don't know. So his buddy was the one that was in on it.
Oh yeah.
Is the one that set him up.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess it would have been him
to do it either way.
Right.
Well, because I think that's the thing. Because since it was internally, the cops were corrupted. By the way, guys, the cops were corrupted. That's the thing. Is the bad guy? The other guy in on it was his friend. That was such an anticlimactic spoiler. I like to build up and like da 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 because I didn't call that it was his friend. I thought it was the captain or whatever. I was like, oh, the Captain Mark
guy,
whatever. And then I forget who else I thought it was, but yeah. So it turns out to be him. So I don't know if they would have let him free. I thought they would have just. It was an incentive because I feel like if he didn't take the money, he'd be like, well, you still have to do this, but you don't get money anymore.
Or now I think they probably would have said, all right, well, if you're not going to take the money, here's your wife's wedding ring.
Yeah, and then he would have had to do it. Yeah, so.
All right. Good thing none of us are ex-life insurance salesmen.
Yeah, right.
Ex-cops.
Exactly. I'm never going to get into the life insurance game ever. Okay, so one gripe that Blake had was counting the shots. And are you sure they fired 5 times?
Give me my phone.
Okay. Oh, did you like make a mark or something like that?
No, hold on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so what happened was it got into a gunfight. After he narrowed it down, this guy who turns out to be working for the lady, he's like to make sure that Michael does the job, which is Liam Neeson. To make sure Liam Neeson does the job, they have the guy on the train watching him. So she was one of the informants. So when it get down to it and they're almost at the station, he's like, okay, who's Prin? Who's this guy? Who's the person that you're looking for? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And he's like, I don't know. And so the guy pulls out a gun and he's like, okay, you have to tell me now or I'm going to kill you. Or what? I don't know what his point was. So they get into a fight. And I think the reason why... Oh, no. That's fine. I believe you with the magazine size. I believe you, but I'm talking about in the movie. Were you counting the shots in the movie?
Yeah, so when he was fighting the black dude at the start, fired off 5 rounds.
Okay.
Just fighting. And then he fired off another 3.
Right.
Should have been out.
Right.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, 1 in the chamber.
Okay.
But then when he was fighting Patrick Wilson, another 3 shots. Or 2 or 3 shots.
Right. No, I agree. It was definitely
Archer has made me count now.
Oh, movies. Okay. Okay.
I acknowledge how ridiculous what Archer is doing in the TV show.
Sure, but I mean, it
now
makes
in movies, I'm like, damn, he's right.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, so that was another. So we have the pepper spray and the gun kind of broke the realism in the movie or the submersion in the movie. But
not just that.
Well, what else?
A 60-year-old climbing underneath a train,
Okay, yes,
fighting FBI agents,
well,
and getting away unscathed, and
he
getting
got stabbed. He got stabbed a couple times.
at the very end,
Yeah.
but he winds up by a paramedic
Sure.
who, everything's fine.
Well,
I'm just
no,
gotta walk in
he
my
did-
limp.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, son, I need help or whatever, son." I don't know. Like, okay, I get it. They probably pushed it to the extreme a little bit with this, and they said, okay, this is just imagine him. He's probably peak performance. He's works
As a
out.
60-year-old, okay.
He works out. Hey, man, have you seen like those commercials about like those really buff old people?
Yeah, the Bowflex ones or whatever.
Something like that, probably.
Like, I feel just as good when I was 25.
Yeah,
and
or
just a
whatever.
little flip and
Oh no,
there you go.
have you seen the one wherever like he has something under his shirt and it looks like fat and then he just pulls it out and it's like this huge yellow lard of fat and he's like, "This is how much fat you have when you're 40. I'm 60 and I don't have this," or something like that.
Okay, so we're gonna assume that
I'm sure
that
he's probably
1 in a million 60-year-old that's buff.
Ex-cop Liam Neeson is buff.
Ex-cop
Liam Neeson is buff.
Is buff. Okay.
I mean, he didn't have a stunt.
He was out of the game for 10 years, dude.
He's still probably working it.
He was out of the.
He's got to keep it up for his wife.
He keeps up the Krav Maga training on the side. Maybe that's why he's so fucking broke. He spends all of his money on jujitsu and kung fu lessons.
True.
In the meantime,
Yeah, probably. That's why
just
they're
waiting for
expensive.
this one moment.
Okay, so what we mentioned in the first couple of takes, which was kind of a spoiler, but like, whatever, you probably could figure it out that it's happening. So at the point they find out who Prin is, and then he's like, "I'm not gonna kill Prin," and then the lady's like, "Oh, you made your choice. Everyone's gonna die." And you're like, "Oh, okay, everyone's gonna get killed." And then what happens is the engineer gets shot, and then they lock the door.
No, he didn't get shot.
Yeah, he did. They broke a window. Did you see the broken window?
They broke. Wait, that's how I thought they planted a bomb in the back to make sure that he couldn't just stop the train, and it exploded.
Right. Oh, and that's
what killed the.
But the train engineer was in the very front of it, and I thought the explosion was in the back, or was it just everything?
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Either way, he's dead.
He's dead, and they lock it, and so this train is going, high speed, no brakes, and it's going to crash and explode. So what they end up doing is they detach the train, and again, Liam Neeson is like this guy, like hanging off the rails, trying to pull this thing, doing this thing. Again, I'm just saying he's a buff guy.
He's a badass 60-year-old.
Badass 60-year-old. And so they managed to detach the train, but it's still in that super, super suspense moment. And then, again, what we said before, which I want to re-emphasize because we didn't say it in this take, 75 to 80% of the budget, what did it go to, Blake?
Liam Neeson and the train explosion.
This train was super just like CGI, fire pyrotechnics, explosions, just this insane shot. And then like, because they're in the last train car. So the first part of the train, first 5 cars of the train, like go off the rails, hit things, explode. The earth from below is like exploding, and everything's just this huge, fantastic, high budget, probably took forever to edit shot. And then you see like Liam Neeson hanging out of the train car, and he's like staring at this, and then this other train car is about to hit him, and then he pulls his head back in, like just this huge explosion. Train totally destroyed, off the rails. Would have killed people, but Liam Neeson is buff enough to save them.
Right. He's James Bond, but a life insurance salesman.
Exactly. And so, but the train is still going. The caboose is still going, and it goes off the rails, but it doesn't explode with the rest of the train.
Because that would ruin the movie.
Exactly. Why would you want Liam Neeson dead? But it goes off rails, and then the final shot, which, again, I want to talk about the pacing of the movie. I thought, like, once the train was over, I thought it was like, okay, they're done. He was going to escape, and then maybe later they talk about it. But immediately, cops swarm it, and that's where you find that, the guy is in on it. This buddy cop is in on it because they put 2 and 2 together because...
so who is Prin? What does she have?
Oh, well, Prin has... Okay, so that's right. Prin has this...
Prin is the girl that he's been trying to find this whole time.
Right, and she saw... Because her cousin... was worked with this company, and then he was gonna reveal that there was corruption and like bad stuff happening within the company, whatever. So Prin witnessed that the person who killed her cousin, along with stealing the information that would lead to the company's downfall. So she's like this vital person who has all this information. So he was supposed to target her, and then they would kill her, but didn't happen. So anyways, a train crashes, and the cop comes in, and then there's a story that there's an anecdote that the girl were told about who the person was who killed the cousin.
What was the quote? Do you know?
It was like
noble people.
Yeah, you probably think you're noble, but that's just that's a lie or something like that.
There are no noble.
There are no people. Yeah, I think something along those lines. Just kind of a realistic, upfront kind of guy. And so when his cop friend repeated that story to Liam Neeson, because in this phase within the movie, everyone thinks that Liam Neeson took these people hostage because they don't know what's going on. They only see outside in. So the cop buddy is trying to convince him, hey,
put
there are
the gun
no
down,
put the
let's
gun
go.
down. There are no noble people, and then that's when it clicks. Oh, he was the guy who killed him. So fight. Guy ends up dead. And but that scene though, the police there, the investigation, they were all on the train, they were talking, whatever. I was like, oh, okay, there's still like a good 10-15 more minutes of like this action. So
the I Am Spartacus scene.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
All right, sorry.
No, you're good. I love that scene. That was amazing. So the cop guy comes in, you find out that he's corrupt,
Takes the gun.
Who is Prin? And then the girl, who is Prin, says, I'm Prin. I let these people go, I'm Prin. And then the other person's like, I'm Prin. She was just covering for me. I'm Prin. And then another person
keeps going.
And then I'm Prin. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. Yes, our good people are good people. I loved it. It was awesome.
Except for the other
train
operator.
The train operator. She was like, I just want to clarify.
I am not Prin.
I'm not Prin. Which again, I thought that was kind of funny. So, but yeah, so they get to it, and then the guy dies, and then they find out that the captain guy was actually in on the, hey, I know that there's corruption. We were actually investigating him.
Right.
Blah blah blah. You figure out that he's just a hard ass good guy, and then he's like, I'm sorry. I'm really sad that you left the force. We need more good people like you. Yeah. So I thought the ending was kind of nice. I thought it was kind of a nice. It resolved, tied everything. Liam Neeson has his job working as an undercover detective. He caught the lady because she was a commuter as well, which I thought was kind of nice. It was just like, I didn't realize that you were a commuter, because it's like the trains are so busy that you don't know who is who, actually. I guess that's kind of a message to say you don't really know people
until you know them.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so that was it.
Oh, yeah, he pulls out his badge at the very end to arrest her.
Right.
So
indicating that he got a job
back on the force.
For 4 years until he
retires.
So, yeah. I think, do you have anything else? Did I cover most of it for the most part?
That's the movie, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much the movie.
That's the movie.
Again, I know we said before, solid B. I think it was good. Will Liam Neeson win a Golden Globe?
Of course not.
Well, maybe a Golden Globe.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, well then, all right. I have more hope for him than whatever. But anyways.
No.
But yeah, so that was it. I definitely think it's worth seeing. Definitely a Redbox rental. Definitely, for sure, if you're looking for something to watch at the night. If you have a deal or something like that, $5 ticket, probably worth it. Definitely don't go see it if it's like, $12 at
If this is a date night and you're spending $40 or $50 on dinner with your girl, and then you want to go see a movie, don't see this one.
Don't watch this one. But definitely check it out later. Or, if you're into action Liam Neeson. Then, okay. For people who are action buffs and drama, suspense, action, thriller buffs, good movie. Solid, good movie. Just people who enjoy movies in general, maybe wait for a deal or something like that. Or a discount or promotion, or I don't know how movies work. But, other than that, anything closing thoughts?
No, thank you.
Cool. No, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Anyways, that is the end. Thank goodness I was wanting to do a half hour, and this turned into an hour, so awesome. Anyways, that is the end of the One More Podcast, guys. Appreciate it, and have a good night.
And that is the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Just letting you know again that this was sponsored by Haven Cottage Event Center, okay? This thing's coming out end of spring in 2018. That's this year, okay? Small, medium, whatever kind of event that you want, bring it here. They can style it, they can change it, they can get it right just for you, all right? Celebrate whatever you want. have any kind of business meeting, whatever it is, just literally your heart's desire. Remember, Haven Cottage Event Center. Everything you need to know is in the description down below how to get in contact with them, okay? All right, cool. Peace out.